Welcome to the Dover Days Festival. Early in the third decade of the 20th century, the president of the Dover Garden Club, Mrs. Henry Ridgely, also known as Mabel Lloyd Ridgely, conceived the idea of showcasing Dover's own beautiful gardens with inspiration from a similar program in Charleston. The Dover Flower Shows and Garden Days premiered on May 22nd and 23rd, 1930, in the Dover Armory, along with tours of private gardens throughout the city. In 1933, the Garden Club decided that the most effective way of bringing attention to Dover's fine old houses, buildings, and gardens was through the method of open house days. The festival was to be held on the first Saturday in May and included many activities. Heirlooms from founding families were to be displayed throughout different houses. There was dancing in the center of the town, and an historical pageant took place in front of Legislative Hall. This annual affair has been very effective in attracting visitors to enjoy our rich cultural heritage. The very first festival was entitled A Day with the Storied Houses and Gardens of Old Dover, 1683 to 1933. It was held on Saturday, May 13th, and commemorated the 250th anniversary of the founding of Dover in 1683 by William Penn. By 1936, the attendance was up to 3,000. The 1930 census showed the population of the entire town was only 4,800, so this was significant. The festival ran continuously from 1933 through 1940 when interrupted by World War II. The Dover Garden Club realized their work could be broadened and more far-reaching if more men were interested in the organization. Mrs. Henry Ridgely conceived the idea of merging the Dover Garden Club into a new organization, the Friends of Old Dover. Since that time, the Friends have functioned as an organization dedicated to the preservation and care of the historic heritage of Dover and its environs. Old Dover Day resumed in 1948, and by 1949 was held under the auspices of the Friends of Old Dover. In 1955, as Old Dover Days became larger and more popular, it was found necessary to make it a two-day affair over the first Saturday and Sunday in May each year. In 1967, Old Dover Days was selected as the opening date of Dover's 250th anniversary. The volunteer sponsorship by the Friends of Old Dover continued until 1995, when the festival had grown so large that Kent County Tourism and the City of Dover jointly assumed responsibility. In 2019, a Dover Days committee was formed in conjunction with the City of Dover and downtown organizations to help produce, raise funds, and manage the annual Dover Days Festival. Let's take a look at the original festival to relive some of the memories. Old Dover Days was always set off with an announcement by the town crier. All attendees were encouraged to wear colonial costumes. Even young children. A parade would ensue that included civic organizations, local schools, and dignitaries. Initially, the festival acted as a fundraising activity for the Friends of Old Dover through the tours of the historic homes and spectacular gardens by means of selling tickets. The tickets were purchased for $1. They included numerous homes throughout Kent County. Many of these homes and gardens belonged to members of the organization. Eventually, historic churches were added as a part of the tour. Included as a part of the tour were often displays of different historic collections, as well as a display of Delaware silver by several members. Much of the silver can now be seen at the Biggs Museum. Other activities at both the homes, the churches, and the green included minuets, games, and maypole dancing. A May Queen was crowned every year, and the tradition of May baskets was in full swing. Homage was always given to the brave patriots who defended and fought for our freedom, both in the Revolutionary War as well as the Civil War. Parades, carriage rides, and military drill were all a part of the festivities, as well as celebrating Dover's heritage. The governor traditionally opened the governor's mansion for a reception, and many dignitaries from both state and local politics attended. Once, 2 secretaries from the United Nations came for the festivities. The governor has long been an active part of this celebration and frequently dressed in costume. The mayor and city council also traditionally held receptions. There were elegant balls on Friday evening, numerous pageants throughout the day, along with games, colonial dancing, and the traditional maypole dance. The Dover Days Festival was used to mark important occasions, commemorating the 250th anniversary of William Penn's order to survey the town in 1683, and the 250th anniversary of the town finally being built in 1717, according to Penn's survey. In 1965, the city of Dover used Dover Days to officially dedicate the new U.S. Post Office located on Lockerman Street. This annual celebration has grown and evolved in the nearly 9 decades since its inception. The open house tours of the fine historic homes and gardens are no longer a part of the festivities, but have been replaced by other activities appealing to the community, including an expanded number of reenactors, artisans, a pet parade, modern rides for children, and much more. In 2019, the last year to host an in-person festival due to the pandemic, Dover saw over 30,000 people in attendance, 250 exhibitors, and 20 food vendors. Time changes everything, but we can still cherish our history and remember how things once were.